if the audience has seen you in a certain role and if they've liked you for it, it's that much harder for the actor to do something else and create another mark. So I had to do a complete 360 shift.
Because you're a writer, do you get more involved and see things different way, and you have to switch off saying, this is already written, I just have to act?
I get an overall perspective of what the story is all about, what the show is all about. And then I'm able to gauge, okay, how am I adding value to this?
Right. Are you someone who likes to read the script, or you like a narration?
I essentially do both.
You
I take the narration and then I want to go home and read the script.
Right. Do you learn acting while doing scenes with them?
Yeah. Sometimes your co-actor is so good. I've had situations where I've just stopped what I was doing and I'm just observing the actor.
This phase of your career where there's one after another release, all interesting, different genres, you put your hands everywhere. You personally enjoying this phase? How would you describe this phase to your audience, to your fans?
Where is all the work that I'm doing going? Where is it going? It's not releasing.
Right.
And thankfully now it's all releasing one after the other. So it's a good phase.
Sumeet, welcome to Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you so much.
We jumped from one interview to the other with you, and we are really happy because you're making such different kind of content. I just finished your tripling and I jumped into this. So before coming here, I watched 2 episodes and I was totally engrossed in it. My question is, क्या आप ये plan कर रहे हो कि the career the way कि let's do one light-hearted thing, something heavy duty like that?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I would say that. In fact, last 1 year, there has been a conscious, shift in the kind of work that I'm approaching as an actor.
Right.
Because what happens is that if the audience has seen you in a certain role and if they've liked you for it, it's that much harder for the actor to do something else and create another mark. So when we did Permanent Roommates, it was really well received. Then I was worried about doing tripling because I had also written it. And then that sort of became the template for the kind of roles that were coming my way.
Correct.
So I had to do a complete 360 shift and approach something very, very somber, and because that's why you want to be an actor.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
constantly do stuff that you are not, that's not you.
Right. Post-COVID, कब क्या release होगा? That obviously is in no one's control. Right. Because you're a writer, do you get more involved and see things different way, and you have to switch off saying, this is already written, I just have to act?
Thankfully, I don't want to intrude into a written script.
Yes,
But what does help is that I get an overall perspective of what the story is all about, what the show is all about. And then I'm able to gauge, okay, how am I adding value to this?
Right.
If I'm adding value to a show, even in 4 scenes, it's fine. If it's a longer role, it's fine. So that much I'm able to gauge. Okay, is he making a difference in the story?
Right. Talking about this Aar Ya Paar, these are people who are watching the interview, have just seen the trailer. So do you want to tell them what genre is this?
This is an action, Pulp Fiction sort of a show. It's about an indigenous tribe that is, existing and struggling and living a good life, I would say. And it's about people like us, the city people, the corporates, and how they only want to extract from, because the thing is, all of us have a deep tendency to consume. We just want to consume all of it. We don't believe in preserving. Whereas the tribes, the good part is that they really love, they are one with the place they live in. So for them, the place is not just a house that they are going to live in and then they're going to sell it for some price and then they would do something else. So the emotion with which they conduct their life is very, very different.
Right.
And nothing of this sort has come out.
This also has that part has such a beautiful message that, if there is a tribe, if there are people living their life, let them be.
Let them be.
Because we in India, we have so many of these in different pockets or something. Every time you hear some development is happening, some mountain
Yeah.
is being broken for something.
Yeah.
This where does this part come in the story? What is it?
I mean, it's a general city versus village tendency, you know. I
Right,
mean, people
right.
from the city want to go to the village. They love it for what it is,
Right.
for the simplicity of it,
Mm.
and then they want to corrupt it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay, oh, let us bring a mall here, let us bring this here, and let us bring that here.
Right.
That's not what the place is all about.
Right. Right.
The
Everything
place
is not about that.
yeah, people are happy there with
Yeah.
whatever little they have,
Mhm.
you know, and we are going to complete this full circle of trying to consume everything, make all the money in the world, and then want to live that life,
And
essentially.
every place will be the same. Har jagah mall, har jagah development
हाँ.
hoga. So you play a crime branch cop. What
Yes.
kind of is he like a Singham kind of a loud cop? What kind of a cop is he?
No, he's not. He's a very sharp guy, very intuitive.
Hmm.
He gets on to this case because he's looking for Aditya's character, Sarju, who's from the tribe and who's on the run. And through the course of this chase, because the entire show is me chasing him, essentially, various parts of the world. It starts from a village and goes all the way to Romania. And what he discovers as a human being, you know, and what decisions he makes, you know, based on his own conscience.
Wow.
So that's the journey of this character. It's very beautifully written.
It is. It is. Are you someone who likes to read the script, or you like a narration? What?
I prefer a narration.
Okay.
Sometimes, because if the director or the showrunner narrates something to you, you're able to see how they see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you see a good script, you read a good script, but they are not seeing it the way you've read it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I essentially do both.
You
take the narration and then I want to go home and read the script.
Right. But when if you just read, you could make your own film in your own head.
Yeah.
Right?
और फिर उनके दिमाग में कुछ और चल रहा है, and then when you reach the shoot, you're like, no, this is not what I thought.
Right. You know, but all this that we see, I saw in 2 episodes. Is it crystal clear on paper? Do you understand what's happening? Like, is it that clear when the script comes to you?
Most of it is. I mean, it's different for the different projects. Like there are some directors and makers who don't mess around with the script at all. They have a lock script and everybody has to follow it to the T. And then there are some makers like Siddharth sir who like to keep evolving it.
Right.
Because it changes with time and space. Every time you go to shoot somewhere, the environment is different. The actor brings in certain energy.
Right.
So that's another fun journey to be on.
Yeah.
And you have to have real faith in the maker on a project like this.
Right. You know, अब इतना काम करो, directors भी अलग तरह के होते हैं. Some will say, like, you know, stick to this and let's follow this line. But some will say, how will you do it? What do you prefer? Like, what do you personally prefer?
I prefer when there is a collaboration.
Right.
I don't believe in just like going by it. I prefer a collaboration. Even if someone's really stuck to, okay, this is exactly how you have to do it, I'm not averse to it, but you have to convince me that why this is the only right way to do this. If you're convincing me, then I can do it.
You know, you do it very well. Acting is a very different art. Do you learn, because, you know, in this also you have really nice actors with you.
Yes.
And in the past also you worked with such good actors. Do you learn acting while doing scenes with them?
Yeah. Sometimes your co-actor is so good. I've had situations where I've just stopped what I was doing and I'm just observing the actor. And then it's like, okay, sorry, we have to do this again, because I was so enamored by them. And you learn every day. Knowingly and sometimes unknowingly, you imbibe a lot of things when you're around talented people.
Right. And the other way to learn is just watching a lot of it?
Yeah. Watching a lot of it, and then at a certain time and age, you start observing the conduct of professionals, of writers, of actors, and how do they conduct themselves? How do they arrive at that place? Like in our heads, sometimes we have a lot of great ideas, but we may not be able to execute them well. But a good actor or a good director is able to execute exactly how he has imagined it. And that's very tough.
Right. So, I mean, when you sit and watch something, and I go and watch a movie, it'll be 2 different things. How do you switch off and say, I'm going to enjoy this? I don't want to see how this was done. You can do that?
I, in fact, do this only.
Okay.
Because I'm still that child who gets transported into a universe.
Right.
Even in a bad film also, once I start watching it, after 15 minutes, I'm just in it. You know, and I'm like a puppy and I'm enjoying this new world that I'm in. And I want to go through the emotions. And if I've actually liked something and it's really affected me, then I go back.
Right.
and then I watch it 2, 3, 4 times to
Mm.
dissect it as to how did they come to it.
Right. Are you someone who will go to the cinema to watch a certain kind of films only, or you'll be like, yes, sir, I want to watch everything?
Well, I watch anything
Yeah.
that speaks to you. I
That
mean, it's
speaks
not
to
like I'm only watching larger
Larger than
magnum
life,
opus films.
Mhm.
I watched some really intimate. I watched a film like Black Panther on an iPad, and I watched Phantom's Thread in the theater,
Really?
which is a very like
Yeah.
mood film.
Did you enjoy Black Panther on the iPad?
I mean, little bit, and then
Ah.
because I'd missed it in the
Okay,
cinemas,
so
and I
right.
wished I had seen it in the big screen.
Right. Since since you're talking about this discussion can go on and on. But what I want to know is that will you? How do you decide that this is I'm going to watch this? Like how? What is your decision making? What attracts you first?
I mean, it has to be the one line of the thing, you
Right.
know. In writing, there's something called an elevator pitch.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, if you're stuck in an elevator with a
Hmm.
big producer, and if you are a filmmaker,
Ah.
you have only those 20 seconds.
Right.
So you have to be absolutely sure about what this film is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Those 20 seconds can make or break
Mm-hmm.
your career.
Your career.
So when you see the promo of something, or when you read something about a film, you get to know, okay, this is a new thing. He's got something he wants to say,
Right.
he or she.
Right.
That's what really
That's
drives
what
you.
attracts you. Lastly, this phase of your career where there's one after another release, all interesting, different genres, you put your hands everywhere. You personally enjoying this phase? How would you describe this phase to your audience, to your fans?
It's a good phase. I mean, it actually, what has happened in the last 2 years, nothing that I had done had released. So I was only shooting. And at some point, I was wondering, where is all the work that I'm doing going? Where is it going? It's not releasing.
Right.
And thankfully, now it's all releasing one after the other. So it's a good phase.
It's a great phase.
Yeah.
We are enjoying watching you. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.